Finland, a country of saunas, vodkas, and really nothing else. It borders 3 countries, Sweden, Norway, and Russia. Speaking of Russia, did you know that Finland was actually a part of Russia for a long period of time? But in 1917, during the time that Russia was falling apart during World War I, it declared independence. Why did they declare independence, you might ask? Well, Russia had a revolution. Kind of revolution, you might ask. Well, a Bolshevik revolution. Finland had a binding with Russia. Well, not really Russia, but the Tsar. Binding was basically that Finland would be a part of Russia as long as Finland had autonomy. So when the Tsar was overthrown by the Bolsheviks, Finland was able to declare independence from Russia, and thus the Republic of Finland was born. Please note that this was very oversimplified. If you want, a in-depth reason for this, this isn't really the place to get it. Anyways, back to the big Finland stuff. In Finland, during this period, there was 2 big political parties, the Social Democrats and the Conservatives. The Social Democrats wanted better working hours and better quality, so because of this, the Social Democrats striked through Finland. Although the government did give better working hours to the Social Democrats, this would not stop the onslaught of war. During this, Conservatives and Social Democrats clashed at various points throughout Finland. They clashed until the Reds took government in Helsinki. And on January 27th, 1918, the Finnish Civil War has started. The war was fought between 2 factions, the Finnish Reds and the Finnish Whites. The Reds had around 100,000, the Whites on the other hand had about 80 to 90,000. The Whites were mostly in the rural areas such as Lapland, while the Reds were mostly in the industrial areas like Helsinki and Tampere. An area that the Reds controlled was called Åland. Åland was an island off the coast of Finland. It was once Swedish, but this happened. Anyways, back to the fighting. On February 10th, the Whites invaded the island. The Swedes also landed on the island on the 13th. Some wacky stuff happened, blah blah blah. The Whites left the island, and the Swedes controlled the island. Even if I could wrap my head around this, it would be complicated and boring. To sum it all up, it went from Red to Finnish to Swedish. Anyways, let's get back to the mainland. At this time, the mainland was kind of a stalemate. Nothing really moved. Things did happen. On the 29th of January, the Finnish Whites pushed to the border of Russia. On the other side of Finland, on the other hand, the Finnish Whites started a counteroffensive on March 15th. They pushed down to Tampere, the 3rd largest city in Finland. The Whites' plan to take Tampere was to encircle the town. They took the town of... I really can't say these names, holy shit. Why do they make them so complicated? It's so hard to say, like, why, man? I have to say, like, 10 of these town names, and I can't. Anyways, this was a strategic win for Finland. 2 days later, after the victory of that town, the Finnish took the town of Overtsee. After this victory, the Reds retreated down to Tampere. This was the largest operation of the war, with 17,000 Finnish Whites and 14,000 Finnish Reds. For 2 days, the Finnish attacked the suburbs of Tampere. Until the 29th of March, the Finnish Whites would throw men at the enemies, taking hundreds of losses in the progress. They would stop this bloody offensive on the 29th, and for 5 days they pounded the city with artillery, basically making the city nothing but rubble. After 5 days of the artillery, at 2:30 a.m. on the 3rd of April, they started an offensive. On the first day, they were able to take the regions of Tampere and Kiev. They fought until they reached the Tamerkoski River. German volunteer unit led by Gunnar Mellen took the Neustralen Palace, only to lose the palace the same day. The next morning, the Whites crossed the river, taking Hamen Posito that evening, and soon would be able to capture the entire town. The only thing they needed left was the town hall, and after successfully taking the town hall, the city has fallen to Finnish Whites. The only thing remains were the enemies on the western suburb. But on April 6th, they surrendered, ending the Battle of Tampere for good. The Whites took 820 casualties, and the Red took 200 killed in action or executed. So what else has happened? It's mostly been a stalemate for this entire time. I mean, there's the Battle of Tampere, and when they pushed the Reds back to the border of Russia. And that's really how they will stay for the rest of the war. Huh? What's that? Apparently, Germany said fuck it and invaded Helsinki. I never really got why the Germans invaded Helsinki. I mean, it just took men off the front line to use in the actual major war that they're fighting, you know, the Great War. Which, sure, they kind of needed it, because if they turned to communists, they wouldn't have an ally up north, and then they wouldn't be able to do stuff, and they wouldn't be able to spread their influence, something. Anyways, I don't know. The Whites really didn't want this. They wanted to, like, take Helsinki with their own troops, but, you know, Germany didn't really care and invaded it. The Battle of Helsinki only lasted for, like, a day, and it ended with a German victory. After the German victory, the Germans were pushed out of Helsinki, going to the city of Hyvinka. After this victory in Hyvinka, a part of the German army pushed up to Hämeenlinna. Another part of the German army pushed northeast to meet up with the other Whites. On the other side of Finland, the Finnish Whites decided to push the Reds out of Viborg. Back to the German front, the Whites decided to meet up with the Germans, encircling a big amount of Finnish Reds. The Germans and the Finnish Whites crushed down on the encirclement, clearing the Reds out of the east of Finland, and the day after this encirclement, the Finnish Reds surrendered, ending the Finnish Civil War in the Finnish Whites' hand. The Finnish Whites took 350 killed in action and 1,650 executed. The Reds, on the other hand, took 570 killed in action and... Jesus Christ! Holy shit. Okay then. Well, anyways, in total, they took 38,000 casualties. But you might be saying, that math doesn't add up. That only adds up to 20,000. Well, shut up. But when you have the POWs that were killed after the war, it adds up to 38,000. Well then, with the Civil War over, and a long road to reconstruction, the Finnish were able to remain neutral and hopefully never have to go through a war again. Hopefully. Anyways, if you like this video, please subscribe and like the video. Me a long time.